building a hot audience has nothing to do with engagement, because engagement caters to the masses, and you are not here to cater to the masses. You are here to cater to that empowered version of your ideal client who is a perfect fit for you and your fucking services. Welcome to Did I Stutter with Jill Perick. And yeah, I probably did because I have a stuttering disability. But I'm also a multiple six-figure business and mindset coach who's here to help you shut down the mindfuckery of imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and playing the nice girl in your content so you and your brand can blow the fuck up and so you can stack the motherfucking cash. I'm holding absolutely nothing back. We're talking marketing, messaging, mindset, subconscious healing, nervous system regulation, and how to do it all even with raging anxiety, ADHD, and just being a fucking human. If fuck is one of your favorite words and nothing can get in between you, your iced coffee, or the work that you're here to do, I'm your girl. Let's dive in. I was uploading my live trainings from Risk It All to YouTube, and I found some YouTube videos from like years and years ago, and I thought that was so funny because I'm just like, it's crazy seeing the evolution of the work that I've been doing over the past 8 years. And I did have somebody recently say, hey, like I went all the way back on your Instagram feed. And I was like, I can't imagine looking at the content that I'm creating now versus 8 years ago. It's like light years different. So if you want to have a laugh, go onto my YouTube channel because there are some hilarious things on there. And by hilarious, I mean me talking like a robot in front of the like brightest window in our house at the time. And they're just so funny. They're so funny, but these fucking flyaways piss me off. Anyways, I wanted to talk about building a hot audience because I have a more like unique take on it. Shocker. And I think when we think about like even just coming into the online space and we're thinking about like building an audience and really appealing to engagement and wanting to get engagement and wanting to get comments, wanting to get people engaging with our content, like that feels really, really good. And I think first and foremost, if you want to be somebody who signs high ticket clients, like the engagement part of it can't be the most important piece to it. You have to believe that there are people, and the majority of people who are going to spend high ticket, they're not spending their time scrolling Instagram, looking at content intricately and like spending a lot of time engaging with your content. They're probably figuring out like other ways to consume your work. So they're joining your free channels, they're downloading freebies and stuff like that. They're actually trying to immerse themselves in your world, or they are scrolling and they are seeing your content, and it's just getting them closer and closer to working with you. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to engage. There have been so many times where I've hired coaches who like I don't even follow them because I don't know, it's just I don't feel the need to engage with content constantly. And usually when I am looking at somebody's shit, it is probably because I'm thinking about hiring them. I'm not looking at them to copy them. I'm not looking at them to like just create engagement. Like I genuinely don't have the time for that. So to really believe too that your best clients are going to be the people who you literally don't even hear from, or you barely hear from them until it's time to buy. And that truly is the reality. Like I do not have active DMs. Like I only really get DMs and only really have conversations with people when they have purchased something, or when they join something, or when they're about to join something, especially something high ticket. I usually am talking to people that 99% of the time they buy because they've already decided in their minds. So it is so easy to get wrapped up in the validation that engagement gives us. It is so easy to be like, oh, like this feels really good. Like this post got a lot of shares, or it got a lot of saves or something like that, or it got a lot of likes, it got a lot of comments. I do that too. Like I am not immune to the feeling that I get when a post does well. But like with the internet, posts that do a good job can be like posts about your kids or posts about your husband. Like last year I posted for my husband's birthday, and like that posted really well because it was a post about my personal life, right? But that doesn't mean that the work that I'm doing, I'm now going to like pivot all my content to just posting personal stuff, because that has no impact on the actual work that I do with my clients and like the authority that is being built through my actual work with my clients, how I coach, how I teach, and the topics that I talk about. Just because, and I'm sure influencer. Like, just because this Instagram live isn't going to get a lot of engagement, there are people that have seen me go live or have watched all the way through, and then they join my one-to-one coaching, or they join the Real Deal. And it's because like they're looking for the depth, and that is not necessarily in surface level content. Now, if you want to become an influencer, if you want to become somebody who like it is just about the numbers and gaining a following, it's actually so interesting because I recently like came across Threads, where it just seems like sometimes people forget that Threads is connected to their Instagram, and like some of them say like the craziest shit on there. Like they'll say stuff like, I don't have any clients right now. Like, how am I supposed to like get through this, or blah, blah, blah. And like, they're a sales coach or they're a business coach or something like that. And I'm all for transparency and honesty and vulnerability. But like, also there has to be a reason why somebody hires you, right? So I digress about that. But I've seen some people sharing threads about the fact that like they have these big followings, but not engagement that matches the following. So a lot of them are getting rid of dead accounts or dead followers or big bots or like whatever it is. And building a big audience is not all it's cracked up to be. Building a big audience, it does not equate to sales. I have had multiple clients who have come to me with thousands and thousands of followers. I think the highest I've ever had is somebody who had like 121,000 followers. And she was like, I am making no sales. And she came to me because she felt imposter syndrome, because she felt like a fraud, because she felt like she wasn't worthy enough to charge what she wanted to charge. And her audience was like cold as fuck. And it's not the fact that it was cold as fuck. It's the fact that what she was doing and what she was saying was not converting to clients. That's what I think a hot audience is when your offers sell. That is what a hot audience is. But people mistake it for engagement. I think that the thing that I hate the most is when people say things like, what do you guys want to see from me? Or what offers, these flyaways are pissing me off, or what offers do you guys want to see from me? I don't give a fuck what somebody wants to see from me, because if I am not into it, if I'm not excited about it, if this is something that I truly want to teach on, then I can't get behind it. And if I can't get behind it, then I can't get behind selling it. So why the fuck would I sell that? So stop asking your audience what they want to see from you, and instead source it from yourself. Instead, think about, if I was at the result that I truly deeply wanted, and I was working with this amount of clients and I was making this amount per month, how would I actually be operating within the confines of social media? And a hot audience is truly about the conversions, and it's not about your validation around the engagement. And you can hear this 10 times over, but when you're in a sensitive place, when you're feeling a lot of self-doubt, when you're feeling like not good enough and all these things are going on, it is really easy to get wrapped up in like, but the numbers aren't showing, but my story views are this, but this and this and this. And that's because it is so normal and natural to think that data equals results. But in the online space, that could not be farther from the case. Okay, it doesn't make sense that I have 5-figure cash months, but I have 1,500 followers. I just had to like get rid of like a couple because like there were some like weird accounts, but that doesn't make sense. Okay, it doesn't make sense, and it's because the online space, it doesn't make sense in regards to that. It always comes down to your content and who you are showing up as and how you are showing up, and the content you're creating and how much you believe in your work. And when you can do that with certainty and with belief every single day without fail, you will build an audience who are obsessed with you. But you know that engagement doesn't mean shit, because your sales will reflect that. I just had a thought. When you are creating content for your audience and you're trying to speak to a different kind of person, because I've heard this a lot, okay? I've heard this a lot from people who say like, okay, Jill, I have like an audience full of people who like are not a good fit. Like they're people that I've signed before, and people that have done XYZ and I've worked with them and they're not a good fit, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is there is no magic pill or magic pivot that you can make. It truly has to begin with each and every day you get up and decide to speak to the empowered client, to speak to the person who you actually want to work with, because you create the arena. So think about that like you're on a stage, and think about there's people in the arena, they're all looking down or up at you, whatever it is, and it's as if you're like putting on a show, and if you're used to the same people coming to the show over and over and over again, that's going to happen. If you create flyers and you show up and talk about this show and you're saying the same things and you're speaking to those people, even subconsciously you're speaking to those people, and that's who you expect to show up, that's who's going to show up. But when you actually think about creating the show for the person that you're actually wanting to call in, you change how you show up, you change what's on the flyers, those people are going to start to trickle in. They're going to start to come and see what's going on. They're going to sit down, and eventually you're going to have a new audience with people who actually are a good fit. But the reason why people don't do this is because they don't get the validation when they are creating content for new people, when it's kind of quiet, when they're kind of like used to saying the same things. Like, for example, for the longest time, for years, I would talk to consistency, and I would talk to it in the way of like, I was so used to having clients that like it was like so hard to keep them consistent. And I mean that because I really did take on the identity of a coach who had to like drag her clients along. Like, I truly believed it was my responsibility to keep clients accountable and to keep them consistent. So I would also talk to people like that because I imagined that everybody that wanted to work with me was going to be that kind of person, right? So I took on this kind of like persona, and I would create content like that because not only were the clients that I was working with, like those are the things that we were talking about, so it was top of mind, but like I also just believed that that was the only person who was going to hire me. So when I shifted away from that, it was very hard because naturally it was so easy to talk to that. It was the first thing I defaulted to, and I was still working with clients who I felt responsible for dragging along. So every day I had to get up and choose, okay, if I'm going to talk about consistency, it has to be in this empowered way. Or if I'm going to speak to this, or if I was not going to talk to consistency at all, then I had to speak differently. I had to move differently. And that can take up a lot of cognitive space, especially when you're so used to showing up a certain way and selling a certain way. So I had to learn how to speak to a different person. I had to learn how to speak to an empowered person. And the same can be happening for you. You're so used to speaking to this kind of person, you're actually so used to thinking about them through like a disempowered lens. Like, it's almost like when you have stories around like money and you have a lot of scarcity thoughts, and you subconsciously think like everybody else has these thoughts, like everyone is struggling with money, nobody has it right now. You're like watching the news. That is the kind of like energy you're going to infuse into your content and how you're going to show up and how you're going to sell. So creating an arena of like ideal clients, it begins with you. It begins and ends with you. It always is about the way that you show up and how you decide to speak to your audience and how you decide that your audience is full of empowered clients, even if they're not, because eventually they're going to be. I have like pivoted and done and talked about so many different things over the years. And like the people who I was so used to like watching all of my Instagram stories like 2 years ago, it's a completely different group of people now. And like, you think it's always the same. You think you're always talking to the same people. And maybe it's because those people are still liking your content. They're still engaging, blah, 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 blah. But you don't know how many people are watching, are paying attention, and are keeping you in the back of their mind. They're listening to your podcast. They're listening to every audio, and they're not reacting to fucking anything. They are flying under the radar. And you may know who they are, but more often than not, if you just kept going, if you kept selling, if you stayed the fucking course, and if you didn't believe what the engagement and the numbers were telling you, these people would buy so much faster. Building a hot audience has nothing to do with engagement, because engagement caters to the masses, and you are not here to cater to the masses. You are here to cater to that empowered version of your ideal client who is a perfect fit for you and your fucking services. That is how you build a hot fucking audience. And here's the thing, you guys, it's very possible that when you start creating content for your specific people, for your arena of who you're calling in, you're going to lose people. You're going to have people who are going to unsubscribe. They're going going to think you're obnoxious. They're going to think you're annoying. They're not going to like it. They're going to say, this isn't for me. And that's exactly what your content and everything you're doing is meant to fucking do. And that is who you actually fucking become inside of the Real Deal Mastermind, because we have been so conditioned to believe that engagement equals sales. So like we optimize for shit like that. You follow trends and you do all the trending audios and you do all this shit to get likes, just to get likes, but you're diluting your message and who you really fucking are so you can cast the widest possible net, instead of thinking there is a specific person that is really going to benefit from my work and I am here for her and her fucking only. Like I have 1,500 followers ish and I'm moving 20K cash months. Like that is what's happening right now. And I know coaches who have 50K plus followers, who have thousands and thousands of followers, who are making fucking nothing. And the difference is I create content for sales and other people create content for engagement. Okay. And the difference is knowing exactly who you're talking to and being willing to sound fucking insane to everyone else when you create for your specific ideal client. Like, for example, I'm talking to that person who is already earning but knows something's off within her identity, who's hitting an income ceiling. She can feel it. When you are specific to your person, people self-select and they start actually seeing themselves inside of your work and they start seeing you as the person that they need to hire. Building a hot audience is not about appealing to the masses. It's about actually fucking leveraging the people that are already in your audience and then calling in the people who are the most aligned, who are lurking, who are probably seeing every single one of your posts, and they are going to pay you your highest ticket offer. And that is who you actually become inside of the Real Deal Mastermind. This is about building out the identity of someone who creates for sales, not vanity metrics. We work on content, creating hot as fuck content that calls in that ideal client. We work on your conviction and your belief so you can be 10 toes down behind the work that you do and who you fucking are, and capacity to build and sustain a business that is making 20K cash a month. That is who you become, and that is what you will do inside of the Real Deal Mastermind. Come join us. We have the Ruthless Mini Mind that is happening inside of the Real Deal. So if you are to join the Real Deal, you get that for free, and it starts next week, I believe. I think if I have that correct. You can also just join the Mini Mind separately, and that is $888. But if you join the Real Deal, you will get it for free along with every mini offer that I've created over the past year and a half, all the future ones when you join, the courses, the curriculum, the weekly hot seat coaching calls. You get every fucking thing, and it is the place to be when you are stacking those 20K cash months. I love you so much, and I will see you next week.